Folks, I'm Rob Scholfield. I work with NC Policy Watch. You can find all this stuff I'm going to talk to you about at ncpolicywatch.com. Many of you know my colleague Chris Fitzsimon, who's on the radio a lot. We've been documenting. Yeah, there's a sheet that I've prepared. Now, this is a little like when I was a kid and they said, you know, there was that old cartoon that said, explain World War II. Use both sides of the piece of paper if necessary. That's sort of what I had to try to do when I wrote this summary, and I didn't want to shrink it down to 4-point font. So it's incomplete. It's admittedly incomplete, but it's a list summarizing a lot of the same things that you've just heard. And what it lists are, among other things that have happened in the 2013 session, the failure to expand Medicaid. You've heard about that. It's going to cost us 2,800 people's lives. It's 500,000 people without health insurance. You heard about our destructive tax cuts that are taking $525 million out of the budget for 2014-15. That's money that could go to rehire teachers, teacher assistants that have been fired, give a 2% across-the-board raise, maintain salary supplements, the teaching fellows programs, make sure that we actually have textbooks for kids, which we don't now. We could do all that if we just took away those tax cuts for the wealthy and for profitable corporations. Reversing the decision to do away with the earned income tax credit. Again, that's $108 million going into the pockets of the neediest workers in our state, who would in turn spend the money in the economy. Reversing a long list of regressive public education policy changes. Kerry mentioned several, but here's some more. Class sizes would be smaller. Third graders would not be taking the never-ending Read to Achieve tests. Teachers would have more training. The modest job security protections afforded to teachers by career status would not be in jeopardy. Teachers with master's degrees would still get a supplement. School buses would be newer. 2,400 kids would be getting access to pre-K. And of course, we'd have the repeal of the unconstitutional school voucher law, and that'd be $11 million more that could fund 2,200 pre-K slots. We could be restoring the funding to higher education. 8,400 additional students would receive need-based financial aid. We could, as David just explained, reverse these harshest in the nation unemployment insurance cuts. This would mean as much as $50 or more a week for hurting families, and people would be able to keep their benefits longer. We could reverse the cuts to environmental protection, which would mean that we wouldn't have this lobbyist wish list of a bill that was passed last session that's going to make all kinds of important environmental rules subject to this ridiculous review process. We'd have garbage trucks that didn't leak and landfills that wouldn't leak. We would have the Jordan Lake rules to clean it up back on track. We'll be talking about that at next Monday, Moral Monday. We'd be reversing cuts to economic development. $38 million more would be going into investing in poor and struggling communities, mostly minority economic development programs. We'd be getting rid of this ridiculous law they passed last year that actually raises rates on small consumer loans. These are the storefront lenders that charge 50% interest on loans. That wasn't high enough. We had to actually give them higher interest rates, higher fees for the loans that go to the most vulnerable people. And of course, we'd be reversing the monster voting law that has taken away the right to vote in so many ways. The Racial Justice Act, assault on women, the list is a long one. The last point I'll leave you with, though, is this. We want them to repent, to restore. We want to go back to, we'd love to have the 2013 laws repealed, but we should harbor no illusion. You know, things were great before that.
That's right.
This movement was not founded when the current legislature was in power. It was founded when Democrats were in power, who were not doing what they should do, who were not passing laws that we need in this state. We're not going far enough. The Racial Justice Act, they had to be dragged kicking and screaming to pass the Racial Justice Act. And many of the important election law changes that Bob Hall and others succeeded in getting passed was like pulling teeth to get that stuff, even when the Democrats in charge. So don't be under any illusion that things would be great if we could just repeal. It would be a great start. But ultimately, this movement is about taking things even further. This is just the first step. So we want, genuinely free higher education, genuinely free health care. All those things, the process to start it is to repeal now, but we need to stay together both to do that and to keep going forward in the years ahead. So thank you very much.